so contagious.
No, because I come in the room like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's my seat right there. Excuse me.
Melanie.
Exactly. Melanie, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Like right now, like I'm submerging myself in knowledge, in books, in mentorship.
That's not enough. Like you have to put the action behind it.
Yeah.
You know
so
what I'm
a
saying?
vision is nothing without execution.
Ooh, we got quotes today.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the 312 podcast. I am your host, Ashley Diana, a girl from Chicago creating spaces for millennials to have wholesome conversations that are real, they're raw, and they're relatable. We laugh a lot, we cuss a little bit, and we promise you're going to learn something about yourself when it's all said and done. Don't be shy. This is a safe space. So, what's the 312? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the 312 podcast. I am your host, Ashley Diana. If you're just joining, make sure after this episode you go back and you catch up. Look at all the episodes. We're on episode, 15, you guys? That's crazy. And for as far as we've come in this podcast, I think it still amazes me that I just started in January. So if you've been here since day one, I love you. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, leave a review. Do all of those things. And yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Today's episode, as like every episode, I always say this, I'm excited. But I also really do enjoy talking to other entrepreneurs, especially the woman that's coming on this show today is amazing in what she's doing and in a very male-dominated industry. So I'm very interested to talk to her. Let me just catch y'all up a little bit. I think the last time I came on here and talked and did this before an episode, we kind of talked about like manifesting and making sure that like whatever it is that you want, you go after it. What I'm learning is that you also have to make sure you're prepared for what you're going to receive. In these last couple of weeks, I've had some great opportunities presented to me and realizing that like, damn, I have to do this. I have to fact check. I have to like make sure I'm like ready to present myself to this opportunity. So I just want to throw that out there. If you are looking and you're, wanting to excel in your career, whatever it is that you want to do, just make sure you are like ready to receive. Because when it starts receiving, honey, when that universe starts to give you exactly what it is that you want, it gets overwhelming. But it's fun and I'm enjoying it. So anywho, let's get into today's episode. Today I have the pleasure of speaking to an amazing woman she's just breaking barriers and making waves in her industry as a Black female CEO of a trucking company. She's also a outstanding mentor and has a mentorship for truckers to be able to teach them how to grow and excel their businesses. So welcoming to the 312 podcast, you guys. Let's get into this episode. You look good. You look phenomenal.
Thank you.
Walked in looking like a boss.
I'm happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here.
You guys are about to learn $1 million worth of game. Yeah. I'm not stealing y'all podcast. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Y'all are about to learn $1 million. I'm about to learn. To hell with y'all. If y'all don't want to take it and take heed to it, I know who's on my couch and who I'm talking to.
Let's go.
But welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes,
this is amazing. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Let's take so we're practicing sobriety.
So
I'm joining you today with a mocktail. We got a hibiscus ginger. What would it be? Like a mule. A ginger mule. Hibiscus ginger mule. And we're going to try it. Cheers to more life and success.
Absolutely. Not bad.
I love anything bubbly. Because I have like a lot of digestive issues. So for real, anything bubbly like makes me feel good.
Well, that's definitely bubbly.
That shit's good. I could use tequila.
A little shot of tequila
later.
Yeah.
How long have you?
Let's jump into it, right? So I was you. Like, definitely needed a cocktail to loosen up.
Yeah.
And as I'm just on this journey to be the best that I can be, not only in business, but as a mother, as a woman, sobriety came to mind. I asked God, I said, I want my true heart desires. This is what you're talking about, manifestation. And so I'm in that phase far as manifesting what my true heart desires are. And I had to cut out the noise. I had to get still. And one of the things that he responded was, give me that. And it was a fifth of Tennessee honey.
Ooh.
On the countertop. No, Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey. That was my drink.
Oh, you was a real one.
Oh, you know.
I know where you from, so we gotta get into that too.
Right. That was like kind of light.
Yeah.
And so he's like, give me that. And so I said, not a problem. And from that day forward, I practiced sobriety. And so now we're a little bit over 6 months sober.
Oh my goodness.
And my mind is clear, how I show up on, team meetings, how I am with the children. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Look at you. And are you just like, is it not a deadline, but yeah, I guess like an end date for you, or you're just like, I'm going to do this until this is just going to be me. This is my new lifestyle.
So you know what? I did not put any deadline on it, right?
Okay.
And so here I am 6 months into sobriety. I'm chilling. I love who I am.
Yeah.
I love who I'm becoming, the woman that I'm becoming. And so I'm coasting. There's no deadline. I'm just enjoying where I'm at right now. So
That's
no.
good. I love it. I aspire. I did dry January. And not that I'm like, I used to drink a lot heavier, I think, than I do now. Now I'm like 1 or 2. I'm just like, oh, I'm good. Or I'll even go places or go days where I'm just like, for what? Like, I don't really care to. And I will say that one thing, my mind was much clearer. Like, I felt a lot less anxious. And then your body just feels better.
That too.
Like, and
That
I'm
too.
like, I'm athletic for sure. And I'm in the gym bad weeks 2 to 3 times a week. Try to go every day. Yeah.
Okay, that's the
that
next
one.
phase. Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
I can't have him looking better than me.
Right.
So I make sure I'm like, and just for myself, it makes me feel good. And I've noticed like those nights I'll go out and we'll, be out with the girls, and even if it's like wine or champagne, we over fucking do it.
All the time.
I'm drunk as hell.
Every time. You
And
wake
I
up the next day
I
like, I will never do it again.
And then do it again.
Never do it again. And then that night, we're back at it again.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing is I thought I had to have liquor to enjoy myself. And so now I'm starting to learn that I don't need that to enjoy myself and have a good time. So that's where I'm at.
For me, I think and I think I'm going to do detox like that consistently. I don't think I'm at a point where I feel like I need to cut it off completely, because I'm like, I know I don't need it. My issue was that when I do drink, I do too much.
That was me.
And so by doing that, I've learned to like moderate. Like, I don't have to get drunk every time I have, you know what I'm saying? It's unnecessary. I don't need 10 shots.
It really
I
is.
know my limits. I'm like, friends that bring around shots. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to sip my wine. Because I'm relaxed and I don't want to be drunk. Like, I got shit to do, y'all.
Exactly. Exactly.
But okay, cool. I love that for you. So let's do I like to do icebreakers.
Okay.
And typically in here we're taking shots and doing silly ass games. But this one, and I'm sure you've played them many a times with your team or other teams, just to kind of let the audience get to know you. We're going to do, 2 truths and a lie.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna let you settle your thoughts for a second. For those of you who have I don't know if you've never played this game. I don't know where you've been in life, but so basically you tell 2 truths and 1 lie, and then the person's supposed to guess like what it is that you're lying about. And it kind of gets you, it'll define like what I think about you and vice versa. Like, damn, you thought that was true? It's not. So yeah, go ahead, stew on it. I think I got mine.
So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Because I'm still festering like 2 truths and a lie. Okay.
You say you got this.
All right.
And it could be whatever, you define. For me, 2 truths and a lie. Damn, why didn't I write this down, y'all? I had them. Okay. I have 7 tattoos. I speak 3 languages, and absolutely hate greens. It's just disgusting. Don't like it. Black card greens.
Greens. Oh.
Black card revoked. Yeah. 2 truths, 1 lie. Which one is it?
I'm going to say that the 7 tattoos is a lie.
Ooh, okay.
And the other 2 are truths.
Ain't wrong.
Wrong?
7 is true. 7 because I have 8
You have 7
symbols
tattoos?
down my back. I count. No.
Oh, that's cheating.
But I don't count all 8. I counted as 2 because I got them done 2 separate times. Those are 2 tattoos. I went through that trauma twice. So 2 right there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So you can't see any
You
of
can't
them.
see any of them. But and so when I was getting my tattoos, I think I think this is the only tattoo on my ribs that I got as an adult. All my other tattoos I got like when I wasn't supposed to. I'm in the basement of somebody's house getting tattoos at tattoo parties.
I've done that too.
And I hate damn near all of them. I'm not gonna lie. And
I
I'm
have
glad
one of
you
those
can't
too.
see it. So my first tattoo was a little crescent moon.
Okay.
Me and my best friend had got matching tattoos in somebody's fucking basement, y'all. But luckily he was a tattoo artist. Like we was kind of smart about it, but we couldn't go to his studio because we were underage. And so he's like, I mean, y'all could come to the house and get the tattoos if y'all want. And I was like, all right, cool. Did it. And I made sure they were always in places where, like, if I'm vacationing with my parents, they can't really see until my dumb ass slipped up wearing a swimsuit.
Yep.
And my mom is like queen of, you're going to be in trouble, but I'm like not going to tell you right in the moment. I'm going to wait until it's good. And, you know, we're sitting having fucking dinner at a steak place.
Okay.
Beautiful dinner. Having fun. And she's like, Ashley, when'd you get that tattoo? I'm like, and it was downhill from there. So yeah, those are I don't speak 3. I speak 1 English.
Okay.
My second technical language that I understand more than I can speak. I understand and write it more in Spanish. I actually have a minor in Spanish.
Oh,
Spanish.
do you?
Spanish? What the fuck is Spanish? Spanish. I do.
Okay.
Yep, I have a minor. Went to Europe,
So
studied
tú
abroad.
hablas español?
Sí, un poquito.
Un poquito. Muy bien, muy bien.
So, so I understand more and write more than I can speak because then, conjugating. And when you learn it in school, it's different than just like learning it as a culture.
Yeah.
Because then how they teach us is like, honestly, not even how folks speak Spanish. It's so proper. But yeah. That's me.
Awesome.
Who are you?
Okay. So I was able to kind of think of something.
Let's get it.
All right. So I graduated from an alternative high school.
Okay.
I love cats. And both of my parents are from the islands. 2 truths and a lie.
I feel like we talked about the parents being from the island, but I don't know if it was both. Now I'm like,
I don't know.
I feel like we've talked about, or I feel like I've seen a reel about the alternative high school, so that one might be. Damn. Not that I'm calling you, bad kid or anything like that.
I don't know.
I feel like you don't love cats, because that love seemed fake. You was like, I don't think you love cats.
You hit it right on the
You
head.
don't like cats?
I do not like cats. I am not the cat lady.
They're sneaky as fuck.
They're sneaky as
and they're
fuck.
nasty.
They're just not my type of animal.
I'm sorry.
So you hit it right on the head. I don't, and no shade to the people who
That's
do
I'm like, sorry,
love,
cat lovers.
Right, sorry, cat lovers. But she's not a cat lover. Never was one of my animals of choice.
And I had a cat.
Oh, did you? Okay. Well, I would have been the girl at your house sipping wine, like,
No,
you
thank
stay
you.
over there and I'll stay over
And
here.
then that's when they mess with you the most.
And that's
they are so evil.
So that's probably what it was.
They mess with you when you
sensed
don't
that
buy.
we not vibing.
They're like, oh, you don't like me? Say less.
Say less. Here
Say
I
less.
come. Coming through your legs, like, yeah. Yeah, so no, I'm not a cat lover. Both of my parents are from the islands.
And I feel like we talked about that. I'm like, I can't.
So
I'm like,
my
maybe it was
mom's
one.
Puerto Rican and my dad's Jamaican.
That's
so
where it was. My mom's
spicy.
Jamaican. That's where we. You were spicy.
Yeah,
AF.
and then I did graduate from an alternative high school.
And that's where that with the Caribbean parents, I'm like, I feel like that. And you correct me if I'm wrong. Your drive and like.
That hands down.
What? Having
Hands
Caribbean
down.
parents is something different.
It's different.
Like,
It's
I've had a
different.
job since I was 15. You gonna do something.
Like 8.
doing something.
Making bracelets, selling lemonade. Absolutely.
I was babysitting with my family members and stuff.
I mean, having island parents for me really teaches me hard work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because both of my parents, they came here at a young age. They worked. And so they always taught me by example, hard work.
Yep.
My mom was always a 9-to-5er. My dad, he was an entrepreneur. And so I did have a little bit of an insight of what it looked like to be an entrepreneur, but definitely hard work. But with that, I will say this though, they always instilled, go to school, get a job.
Yep.
That looks very different for me today. Yep. And so we can jump into that a little bit later. But yeah, having Caribbean parents was, it's pivotal to who I am today.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's jump into it. Who is Melanie? Tell us about you. For those of you who don't know her, you're gonna know her and you're gonna want to follow her and get on the money team, honey. But so specifically, you can define it, define yourself how you want to, but of course specifically to your transition, right, from being a nurse to a CEO. So let's talk about like your background in there. What got you into nursing?
Okay, so we're being very transparent.
Yes.
And this is a very organic podcast. So really, honestly, just to keep it 100 with you guys, nursing came about because I was struggling. I became a product of my environment. I come from a single mother, and so I moved to Jeffrey Manor. I don't know if you Wild Hunnets, for whoever's familiar.
Where I'm from, and I felt like that little maze that like nobody knew about that shit, and I feel like you were where?
99th and Bensley.
Oh my God, I was on 96 in Brennan.
Get out of here.
9684 South Brennan.
9903 South Bensley. That's
so
crazy.
When you talked about this and not to go off topic, when you talked about this in a reel that you had posted, I think it was like in the caption, I immediately was like, it makes fucking sense. Look at this, girl.
Look at this.
I didn't think nobody knew about Jeffrey Manor.
A rose that grew out of concrete, girl.
Yes.
And so I became a product of my environment. I fell in love with that fast lifestyle, if you understand what I mean. Just really, really just was going down the wrong path. And so I was in an alternative high school because I got kicked out of Kenwood Academy.
You went to Kenwood?
I went to Kenwood. Yes, I did. I did. And so then I was at Olive Harvey Middle College, alternative high school. Long story short, I had an opportunity to do an internship at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills, California. Fell in love, started that whole process of nursing, started from the very, very bottom as a CNA, certified nurse assistant. And
you love doing CNA work?
You know what? I will say this. I'm going to be totally...
Because that's the part where nurses was like, I couldn't wait to get out of that shit.
Hold on. So look, I'm going to keep it so 100 with you guys. Okay, so my man, I really didn't have to work like that. So I was working like on the weekends as a CNA. So it wasn't like full-time? So it wasn't full-time, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I will say this. It made me a better nurse.
Good.
It made me a better nurse.
That's what they say you needed.
I didn't have a problem turning a patient over and, doing hygiene. It wasn't an issue for me because I was a CNA. I wasn't one of those nurses to where I was too good.
Yeah.
And so it made me a great team player when it came to emergency. Because, my specialty is emergency and trauma, was emergency and trauma.
Know. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Oh, is she?
She's an executive director now. Let me give her,
So your mom's a nurse?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
She started at, what was it, Trinity?
That was my first job ever. What's your mother's
Karen Walker.
Nope, don't know her.
But she started at Trinity, went University of Chicago. Yep.
That was my first job
really?
As a nurse.
Yeah, and I think that she had been there for years and then like moved about. She's in Daytona now. She's the executive director of the ER. Whatever they're like standing.
You never shared that.
I'm like, we haven't talked like in detail.
We haven't.
I feel like we've always we need to set up meetings
in groups and in settings.
Yeah, she's
what?
Yep, she stopped. I want to say 6 years ago or so. Stopped bedside, and she went into directing. She loves it.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then my sister just graduated from Purdue, and she's about to take her NCLEX.
Perfect.
Down in Daytona.
That was a beast.
She is like stressed, and I'm just like, baby.
Yeah, I know. It was like one of the hardest tests that I've ever taken in life. But it's yours though.
Yeah,
it's yours. And so that's one thing I knew, that if this entrepreneurship thing didn't work, I
You
would
have that.
always,
You
I would
always have
always
that.
have
And
a
my
job.
mom always
I will
says
always
that.
have my nursing license. I can always go back to the hospital today.
Yeah.
Literally.
Always. And then probably the way I feel like nurses now are making always have been making good money, but it's like post-pandemic, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I'm like, so I still have girlfriends in the field who are still working at the bedside. And even though they're making a bag, their mental health is suffering.
Absolutely.
Because especially in the midst of COVID. So I left right before COVID happened.
Okay.
I left right before COVID happened. I of course, I didn't know, COVID was going to hit. But I left 2 weeks
Ooh, and then
before.
for that to happen.
And then I was ER trauma. So we were getting all of those patients who were suffering with, like, the shortness of breath, all of those COVID
when it first
started. And I had just phased out from the bedside. And one of the things my girlfriend talks about today is that, like, the influx of death that that we saw, and it was just really, really hard. And so you just have to weigh the bag versus your mental health.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, so
and that's what
it's not easy being a nurse. And that was one of the things, I guess is a good segue to kind of jump into it, but I love nursing, right? So I came from the era of, being in love with the streets, the fast life, and all of those things. And, a tragic event had happened, and I said, you know what? I got to switch it around. I got to switch this thing around. And so I started to study nursing. I got into nursing, worked my way up from CNA to a bachelor's degree. Went to a community college. Let me say that. I did my CNA, went to a community college, but I still had one foot in the street still. So I wasn't really ready.
It's like,
yeah. I wasn't really ready. So I got kicked out of my first semester of nursing school.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, crazy. But I was like, you know what? I gotta do this. And so I got disciplined. I got serious about it. And when I achieved my bachelor's degree, got all the acronyms behind my name. You have a mother and now a sister going into that industry. So I played corporate. And I took some of the stream with me. I played.
And I feel like that makes you an even better employee, or, you know what I'm saying, even a businesswoman, like having that as your background a little bit too. Like, I'm not naive.
Not naive at all. Not naive at all. And so I stepped into corporate and I played the game.
Good.
And in my opinion, I rocked it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, hello.
And so I went, and there's like, you got to go back to school. No problem. Say less. Got my master's degree for family nurse practitioner.
That is what's up.
From Governor State University. So graduated with my master's degree.
Mom went to Governor.
Alignment.
I see. That is crazy.
Yep.
That's a story.
Yeah. And so with that, I was at the bedside dealing with burnout, and I would leave from the emergency room. I'll get in my car and I was like, damn, I didn't even have a restroom break today. And they call it a 12-hour shift, right? No, it's more like 15-hour shifts, right? And I would leave to go work in one of my other businesses, and I was like, there has to be.
You're like, not
there
sleeping,
has to
none
be
of that.
more, right? I had just had children at that time, so I missed Christmas morning. Her first, I was like,
and my mom not missed it all the way, but she missed a couple.
I'm sure she missed a lot of pivotal times: Thanksgiving,
like
Christmas, plays,
sports
activities,
stuff,
events. Yeah, I mean, because healthcare, medicine is 24 hours. We're essential workers, right? So it doesn't stop. And
she was always like a charge nurse?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like it was always something that she had to like respond to, or like, I just left work, but they need me back because now we're short staffed.
Yep.
And I think that part helped her or influenced her too to be like, I don't want to do bedside anymore. Like, I still want to be in nursing, but she's like, I need something, where I'm on call as the director, right? But like not to the extent of when it.
But you can delegate at that position.
Exactly. She's like, I'm calling people to go in.
Yeah, so you're delegating.
I'm still at home.
Yeah. So it's definitely different from being
sure.
in the hospital, unless there's like a tragic event or something that happens.
I know with COVID, she had to do a lot of bedside work.
And don't get me wrong, I love nursing. I still talk about it. I still, I have a lot of my community are nurses, right? Or those in the medical field. Nursing was my passion. And then that was another thing, like, no man gave it to me. Yeah. No one bought it for me. That was mine. I earned it, right? And so I will always forever be grateful for that journey. But now here we are in a new phase of Melanie. And to roundabout to your first question was like, who is Melanie? And I honestly, transparently, I had to sit here and I had to ask myself, who is Melanie? Mm-hmm. The Melanie that you see today is a new, evolved Melanie. And so I'm getting to know a professional, a mother, a leader, a mentor, an activist, an advocate for other people who look like me.
Yep.
I'm in a very Caucasian male-dominated industry. And so that required me to have to put Mimi to rest.
Come on, Mimi.
Right? So that required me to have to shift my mindset. And when I shift my mindset, that's when things started to shift for me. And who is Melanie today? I am just loving like sobriety, being an advocate, showing people how I did it, and you can too. Because one thing is, we don't know what's possible.
Yep.
Even me having immigrant parents, me being a minority, we really truly don't know what's possible. And so I really feel like that's the number one thing that I'm leading with, is showing you by example, but also giving you the steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
In order to, and that's good too, because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs or people that say that they're, you know, sorry y'all, my shirt is, boobs are boobing.
That's a little peekaboo.
I feel like a lot of people tell their story, but then don't like really show. And I think that was one thing with you, the mentorship piece of your business. I'm like, that's dope. Because not only am I doing it, and, you know, I'm not just up here boasting about it. And here's the thing. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you really, truly desire to open up opportunities for other people, and especially if you come from where you come from, it's like, okay, I want to show other people that this is possible. And to see you doing that is amazing. So let's talk. Like you said, it opened up a new door for you. So when did you make that transition? Like after you said like, hey, I'm done. You know, I need to figure out me some more. Did you jump right into, was trucking the industry that you always wanted to transition into?
Got it. So absolutely not. Right?
Oh,
So
I thought she was going to say absolutely.
Absolutely not. No. There were people who knew that, you know, I was in entrepreneurship as well as working in nursing.
Okay.
And so a friend of the family was like, man, you need to really look into the trucking industry. You really need to look into the trucking industry. And I'm just like, no. I hear you, but it's, you know, you really want to be risk adverse. And so trucking has it's a high overhead. It's, you know, compliant. It's expensive as hell. And so I'm like, no. And then, you know, here we go again. It presented itself, and I was just like, all right, cool. Let me take a look at this thing. Let me really understand what is trucking, transportation, what is it? And so I started to do the research, and I realized it's saturated. There's a ton of trucking companies out here. So then the businesswoman stepped out and said, what will make you different besides the person to your left and your right?
Yep.
And so that's where I started to understand my power as a minority woman in a male-dominated industry. And I said, register the company as minority woman-owned and start doing business with the government.
So that was initial. That's how you.
That was initial.
That's
so
what's
even
up.
I'm gonna
People discovered that
let me
later
be honest.
on.
Let me be honest. So I was doing the research, and my aunt was like, "You need to look into grants, right? See if there's any grants for trucking companies." And so I started to do the research in regard to grants. And I said, this is not it. This is not what I'm looking for. This is not, grants are cool, but this is not it. And so I started to dig some more. And then that's when I found government contracting.
Okay.
I'm like, damn, what is that? I never heard of that.
Right.
But I run from Uncle Sam, right?
Yeah,
You think about the government, you like,
Like, no, I don't want to do business.
I don't want to do business with the government. But I started to do my research, and I started to see the advantages of doing business with the world's largest customer. It gets no bigger. And so then I started to look at the certifications, the socioeconomic set-asides component of it. And that's when I started to register the business as minority woman-owned.
Okay. Got you.
Yep.
That's what's up.
So we are a proud certified minority woman-owned transportation company. Yep. And we have branched out into asset-based brokerage and a whole lot of other things that are on the horizon.
So you said brokerage. So do you all own trucks, or you are like the dispatching part of it? And I'm just learning too, so
Yeah,
inform
sure.
me. I don't know if I'm even using the correct terminology. But
sure.
is it both? Like, do you own your trucks and then you guys dispatch those, or are you dispatching like for other companies? Does that make sense?
Yep, I got where you're going.
Okay,
I got where you're going. I got where you're going, girl. I got you. So no, we don't have a dispatch company. We don't dispatch for other trucking companies. Yes, I do have my own assets, which are trucks and box trucks, Sprinter vans, things of that nature, right? And then yes, we have a brokerage company. And so that's a new launch of mine, Integrity Global Logistics, which is amazing. I'm so excited about what we're going to do with that new project. And so we have assets and then a brokerage company.
Okay.
And so we brokerage freight to the carriers, which are the truck drivers. So basically, I'm the middleman to
The middle woman.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Let me correct me, please. I am the middle woman, right, to the shipper, the manufacturers, to the carriers.
Okay.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Congratulations, first and foremost. That's and I'm sure being able to, I guess you can tell me, being able to transition from nursing or just any position that everything is guaranteed, right? You have a guaranteed income, you have a guaranteed schedule.
Let's talk about
it. And
it.
then to switch, because I think that there are so many misconceptions about entrepreneurship.
Let's talk about it.
They think it's fun. They think you're just going to make a shit ton of money. And I'm just like, first off, when you start off, you're spending a whole lot more than you're making. And it's probably going to be like that for a little bit, especially if you're not as educated in whatever industry it is that you're in.
Definitely.
And you still work. It's like... It's this quote, or not, I don't even know if it was a quote, but it's like, I left my 9 to 5 because I didn't want to work 9 to 5 just to turn around and work 24 fucking 7.
24/7.
You know, it's like, damn, I'm always working.
Yep.
So let's talk about some of those common misconceptions. Did you have any going into it? Like,
So you have to, I didn't even know what a real entrepreneur was.
Okay.
Let's start there.
And I guess that's true too. It's become a lot more popular in the last couple of days, but you've been doing this shit for,
Yeah, well, so I've been an entrepreneur and I've been owning businesses for 10 years now, right? So I've been investing. First business was like car dealership, then real estate, then barbershop. Yeah.
Come on, girl.
Right. Okay. So.
Oh, and I heard that's hard.
That was hard, but that was so long ago.
Okay.
Let's talk about where we're at. Let's talk about where we're at right now. And so a lot of misconceptions around it. So number one, I really didn't even know what an entrepreneur really was. What a full-time entrepreneur was. And then you have, no shade, social media, to where entrepreneurship is glorified.
Yep.
You're on an island and still working and making thousands of dollars from your phone, right? No, not quite.
She said it's not happening like that.
And so I did know a little bit about like entrepreneurship because of my previous business relationships and owning businesses and partnering in businesses. But I didn't know how much hours I had to put into it, right? So I was the girl, I knew if I was going to walk away from nursing and I was going to step into entrepreneur, I needed to do it like 100%. I needed to be all in.
Yep.
And
And
so
I think you have to be.
you really do.
have
To
to
make
be.
it really work.
Yeah, you have
to
to
make it
be.
really work, you have to be all in. And so I have a very competitive personality, A-type personality. And so I left nursing. I've washed out my 401k. I don't recommend that for anyone. Okay. I don't know which camera, but don't do that. Right. But I bet it on myself though. And I knew who I was and I knew what I was going to do with this opportunity.
Yep.
And so I also knew that within the first year you never pay yourself, right? So I had to get residual
You got
income.
a lot of education coming into it too.
Yeah, I mean,
as far
I
as
did
like the business
a
side
little
of
bit,
it.
a
Okay.
little bit, but not to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Like right now, like I'm
Of course not.
submerging
Yeah.
myself in knowledge, in books, in mentorship. Yes, this mentor has a mentor, right? I'm also just really in love with like learning what it is to really truly be an executive. I was playing around with it at first.
Yep.
I was dibbling and dabbling, somewhat, running a business, doing what I needed to do to make things, do what it do, if you know what I'm saying. And so now I'm really, truly in my phase of entrepreneurship. Truly. There's a lot of misconceptions. There's going to be a lot of sleepless nights, early mornings. There's going to be a lot of denying yourself of things. Failures. I love failure,
How many times did you fall?
I love failure. I love to fall.
I feel like it's the greatest opportunity to, and this is crazy. This is something that my aunt said in a video, and she passed away. But it's like this, something that I posted. I don't know if you've seen it on my story before, but she was like, "Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fall. That is the perfect opportunity to learn." And when I tell you, I hear that shit all the time. Like I have that video saved
have
and
the
listen
great
to it.
lessons.
Yes, they do.
The losses have the great lessons.
Yeah.
So fall fast.
Yep.
That's all I say.
Yep.
Hurry up and fall, because it's not about the fall. It's a recovery from the fall.
And it's what you learn within the fall. It's like in anything, like even as children, right? They're sponges. Don't touch that, it's hot. Okay, you don't listen, I touch it, it's hot, I burn my hand. I bet you I'm gonna never touch that shit again.
Period.
So
Period.
It's the same thing when it comes to businesses. And I think that
it really is.
I think that, like you said, social media has a lot to do with it, but I think that those failures should be highlighted a lot. Like, be realistic, y'all. Like, you didn't get it, in a day. Rome wasn't built overnight. No. There were, even me, and I don't even think I'm anywhere close to where I want to be, like, in my entrepreneurial journey. But thinking about 2014, 15, when I originally established the marketing agency I have now, and where it started, I'm completely different. I'm much more bolder in my decision making and focus, because I've learned. I've taken on clients that weren't good clients. All money isn't good money. I've learned so many lessons to where at this point I'm a lot more focused, and I'm like, I know what I need to do. Still learning.
But look at you now, right?
Yeah.
I love the lessons. I learned a lot of lessons in trucking. Yeah. Trucking has been one of the hardest businesses I've ran.
What would you say has been your biggest, I don't want to say downfall, but I guess the biggest hurdle to get over? Whether it was a transition or currently within the industry you're in now?
I would say within the last year or so, to be transparent with the current market and what's going on with the economy. I'm not going to get too crazy with numbers and all of that other stuff. I won't bore you guys with all of that. Just know that the trucking industry, the transportation industry is suffering from fuel costs, line haul rates, insurance premiums, things of that nature.
Insurance is expensive. My goodness.
And imagine having a fleet of 10 or more.
Exactly.
Right?
Even
so my insurance was right.
Imagine 10 of those.
Exactly.
And $1 million a year.
Exactly. So a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, you're making so much money in trucking. There's a lot of overhead. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of costs, especially being a fleet owner. Yeah. Right? You have truck drivers who are company drivers. Mm-hmm. Then you have owner operators, and then you have fleet owners, right? Which has the brunt of the hit when it comes to operational costs, right? We have to pay for everything, payroll, all of that. And so I think that...
Oh, goodness, payroll.
Let's not even... I love you drivers, but you guys are tripping. No, I love my drivers, for sure. The world would not be what it is without truck drivers. They're essential workers. They are, period. They're essential workers. And so I think that my greatest lessons, I would say, is I started out with the lease model. Somebody told me to come into this game, come into the trucking industry and lease your trucks from, like your Penske and your Riders and things like that. Can I say company names? Okay. So
until they tell us we can't.
Okay, well, no, you might have a problem because what I'm about to say.
We'll decide after. Say what you feel is natural, and if we need to edit later, we will.
All right, cool. So one of my greatest lessons was I was advised to come into the trucking industry utilizing the lease model. So you're leasing from, your Penske's and your Riders, and that is at a very high cost, but they sell you on the fact that they will take care of all of maintenance, right? And so I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I don't have to do anything. And then I knew knew coming into the transportation industry, I wasn't the girl who's going to drive the truck or handle the
said,
maintenance.
I'm not doing
right?
it. Have you ever driven?
No, I don't need to.
I did once.
Okay, good for you.
And I don't want to do this.
No.
It was a little scary.
Yeah,
those brakes be breaking. Or not.
Or not,
that shit
right?
is scary.
So I run the business. I handle the infrastructure and the
Okay.
business side of
Okay.
things. And so, long story short, you cannot sustain your business, and you cannot like really handle the cost of leased vehicles running off the low board, right? And then in the current market that we're in right now. So that was like my number one greatest lesson is really understanding the lease model, because it's price gouging. You know what I mean? There's just no way you can sustain. I feel that, and I know that the lease model, leasing trucks, are more for those who have dedicated lanes,
Okay.
and their contracted rate can sustain through a very rough market like right now, or it's more for those larger carriers, right?
So notepad. Wait, you taking notes? You take.
I know, right? We weren't even
Wait a
supposed
minute.
to. Right, I know that was a lot. That was
Wait
a lot.
a minute.
But yeah.
But yes.
But yes.
That's a big lesson for you.
So yeah.
And I think that that's something that I say me, because as if this is my company, it's his, but I see a lot behind the scene. I'm like, I think
sure
that's
you do.
something that he's learning too.
Yeah.
Where you're like, damn, I wish I would have started this way instead of that way. But it's, like I said, it's all a learning curve, everything you're going to learn. So speaking about, and again, we've talked about you and your very dominant, bold personality.
I do.
You do have, and I love it. You walk in, I'm like, that's a boss. Even when we first met, I'm just like, out of everybody that was in that room, I'm just like, let's come talk. What do I say? I'm like, let's talk.
But I'm humble though.
Let's
I'm
talk.
humble.
You
but
are.
this is earned.
You are.
This is earned.
As
okay?
it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that, and I'm pretty sure within the industry that you're in, trucking, you have to have, especially as a woman, I feel like you have to have a dominant personality. And I feel like as a Black woman too, has there been any pushback with your assertiveness when it comes to like maybe you being in rooms that are filled with people who are not, people of color or who aren't as inclusive or diverse? Have you experienced any pushback from, the boldness or the assertiveness within your business?
I mean, if I could just think of it right now at the moment, no.
That's good.
I have not experienced any pushback because I always lead with respect too.
Okay.
Right? Another thing is now, do I feel uncomfortable at times in some of these rooms? Hell yeah, of course. Because imagine you have transportation and government contracting. I'm usually the shortest, the youngest.
Come on, shortest.
Right? And the only minority woman at times in the room. Right? So it does get uncomfortable, but I notice that my growth is going to come from me being uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And so
absolutely.
I put myself out there, and that goes hand in hand with my bold personality. I'm a risk taker. That's just me. I'm just that type of girl, right? So it's like, all right, okay, well, what do I need to do to have a seat at this table? Lead with knowledge and integrity. Right?
Come on, team integrity.
Team
That's
integrity.
The
Everything is, the whole empire that I've built is all the companies now that we're branching out. It's integrity.
Yes.
And I noticed that once I started to incorporate integrity and walk with integrity, they respect you more, right? And then another thing is that I want to say to my community, they're willing to do business with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Show up for yourself first. That's the number one thing I could say. Show up for yourself, number one, right? Punctuality, professional,ism, and be prepared to do business.
Yes.
Right?
You have to be. And we were having a conversation about this earlier. I was a little late today, I ain't gonna lie. But the way I have it set up with my guests is that I know a lot of people on CP time, myself included sometimes, but again, as a professional, I'm really learning to make sure that I'm, if you're on time, you're late, so we were talking about it, and the initial response she had, because I'm like, I have to tell people to be here a little earlier than they're supposed to, because that way if they're late, they're on time. And she said, I'm a professional. I'm a professional. You ain't got to worry about that. So I think that piece is extremely important. And you were saying too, you can speak to this, that when it comes to working with or trying to, contract with people, non-blacks or non-people of color, Caucasian, males or women or business, Caucasian-owned businesses, you just have to make sure that you're, again, showing up for yourself, one, but also showing up like respectfully and being on time. That is so important. You lead with being late. I think that kind of
that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
that speaks
it's
volumes.
Like, are you serious about this?
Right. So let me be transparent. And so I was that girl too. I was like you, I'll come fashionably late. I'll come, 30 minutes late. They won't mind. It's just 30 minutes. And I had an opportunity where I was late to the meeting. And the person taught me a great lesson. You have to, I understand that, things happen. Number one, keep open communication, right? If you are going to be running a little bit late, keep transparent and open communication. Number two, respect the other person's time. It's not about your time. Respect my time. And especially if we're here to talk or conduct business, you always want to make sure, so let's say 11:15, right? I was supposed to be here at 11:15. I'm in the parking lot by 11:10, right? And I'm going to walk through the door at 11:15, right? Because like you said, on time is really late. And I almost missed out on a multi-million-dollar opportunity by coming to a meeting late. Luckily, it was someone who was compassionate enough to pull me to the side and say, hey, look, moving forward, these are the expectations. And I promise you, this is from a place of love, and you'll go much, much further.
I love that. And that's good, because a lot of people won't give you that. They'll be like, meeting's over. Meeting's over.
No, you would get there and they would be gone.
They left for the day. Sorry, you missed it. That's good though. What were you gonna say?
No. Just a great lesson. Just a great lesson. And so that goes into like me just being the best that I can be. It's punctuality, being on time, arriving for myself, for my children, for my legacy, and not missing out on an opportunity ever again.
Yeah, I love that. And so let's talk about representation a little bit too. Because as you said, the trucking industry is white male dominated. And so I was curious to know, with you being a Black woman, and being in these spaces, because let's be honest, let's be real, a lot of times for us, and I think that is one of the biggest issues of progression in the Black community, is that when we get to a point where, I'm at a level, or I'm in these rooms where a lot of other Black people won't be in, or I'm the only minority in the room, I feel like there's so much, like, I feel like it's all how we were raised or brought up, how the community or how the society has brought us up to believe that you for one aren't supposed to be there. So not only am I going to hush up and be quiet when I'm in these rooms that I'm invited into, I'm not going to bring anybody with me. Y'all figure it out on y'all own. But this diversity and inclusion, it stops here with me. I made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Crabs in a barrel bucket or whatever. So I feel like with you being in those rooms or being invited into these rooms where you are the minority, what are some ways in which that you are ensuring that like diversity and inclusion doesn't stop like at you? If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. I think that since I've been provided the vessel and I am here and this is what I'm doing, I always make sure that team integrity is involved in whatever it is that I'm doing. If I'm going to be in this room and it's a public event or meeting, I'll definitely put it in like our community. Okay. Come join me. Even if it's virtual, right? You can, from the comfort of your couch, comfort from your home. Just get in the room, right? That's where that's how it started for me, right? So I always bring in team integrity into the rooms that I'm in. And then when I do get in these rooms, I'm always having them in mind. Yeah. Right? How can I be an advocate for them, right? Because everybody can't get a seat at the table. Everybody's not bold enough to sit at the table and also vocalize what we need, right? So I always put them in position to where what would be best for my community, what would be best for us as a whole. And then another thing is just knowing what's for us. Yeah. I think we don't know. Yeah. We just don't know. We don't communicate with each other enough. We stand on each other more than stand next to each other, And so just making sure that we stand next to each other, because especially like in government contracting, let me say this. So in the private sector, I would look at him as a competition. And in government contracting, I look at it more as comp mates. right? So you have a company, I have a company. The services that we offer together can go after larger and bigger contracts.
I say that all the time.
Right?
Collaboration over competition is
collaboration over competition. I just made a post about this. Collaboration over competition, and two strands are stronger than one.
Absolutely.
And we just have to change our mentality and change our mindset. And so I think that we're making headway and we're moving in the right direction. We just got to do a better job at being intentional.
Absolutely.
As an individual. And so that's all that I'm doing.
That's good. And the word I was thinking of earlier, you guys, is this internalized racism, right? So we internalize a whole lot. And like I said, just as a community, not being offered opportunities or imposter syndrome kicks in, I think heavily for Black people. It's like, look, am I supposed to be here? Like, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, being able to stand strong on knowing exactly what it is. Why you laugh? What? And her laugh is so contagious.
No, because I come in the room like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's my seat right there. Excuse me.
Melanie.
Yeah, exactly. Melanie, nice to meet you.
And I want to talk about that
too. It's just
too.
different.
So I used to be a medical staff coordinator. So
wow.
Back it up. I was going to go to nursing school.
Okay.
And I got to my junior year. Oh, actually, not even nursing school. Nursing school was a backup. I was pre-med.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to be a pediatric doctor. Got to my junior year and figured out that I don't know if this shit is for me.
I don't know if this is for me.
Mind you, I had did so many prerequisites, like everything. And I'm sitting down talking to my mentor. And he just really looked at me. He was just like, are you sure this is what you want to do? He was like, I'm here for you, whatever you want. But he was like, Ashley, like, you stressing now, like you complaining about not having a social life. And, you know, he was like, just make sure that this is for you. And it's a funny story. My grandmother was in the hospital before she passed away. And I was in the time where she needs to be changed. And so she looked at me and was like,
your turn.
She was like, you want to be a nurse, right? And like proceeds to turn over, y'all. And I'm like, oh yeah, no. And this is my grandmother. Imagine me, you know, having to help and be an aid to people that I don't know. And that's why I was just like, I don't know if I can. Because I asked my mom, I'm like, can I just switch or go directly to like pediatric, like just being there checking on kids? And she's like, no, you have to learn everything. And I'm like, I don't want to learn everything. So I say, I don't even know where the hell we're going with this, but I was a medical staff coordinator at Swedish Covenant Hospital.
Okay.
And we were speaking on kind of knowing yourself and walking into a room like you belong there, right? And as a medical staff coordinator, we're right near the office of the CEOs and the executives of the hospital, and like the nursing directors, all that good stuff. I used to walk in there with suit jackets, heels, and mind you, I'm basically like the doctor's secretary. And I gotten asked so many times, like, are you the new the manager? Are you the new director in the medical staff office? I'm like, no, I'm the assistant. And people would tell me all the time, like, you look like you are one of the executives. And I'm like, that right there, in all of my business ventures, I've learned to just kind of show up as her before you become her. And people are going to believe you.
I love that.
People are going to believe you.
I love that.
Be her or
love
him,
that.
whoever that is. And anybody that know me, like, honey, it don't matter where we are. I've gotten into I got a complex con by having a freaking a keychain that looked like a ID badge and my fucking iPad. Walked in there and got in, like didn't have, like, I'm not saying do that. But
right.
Because they thought that I was somebody and I just walked so confidently. I'm like, hey, y'all doing? The guy looking at me like, hey. And we walk right on.
And so, I mean, like, you have to walk with confidence in these rooms. You have to be confident in yourself, and you have to be sure in yourself, right? That's one of the things that we do in the very beginning stages of mentorship is talk about your pitch.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we do like a pitch contest, and, you know, we talk about pitching your business because that is so key. You have literally an elevator pitch. You literally have 3 to 4 minutes to tell me what it is that you do. I'm an investor, I'm a client, I'm a customer, I'm a potential lead.
And it's
so harder than people think.
Because then you're like, damn.
You're like, oh, okay, I can do that, right? No problem. But then when you practice it, it's like, ooh, I need practice. And all it is practice too. Yep. So start now, you guys.
Practice on that elevator pitch.
Look, whatever you envision yourself to be, a multimillionaire, on Forbes, on TED Speak, whatever it is that you believe that you want. You want to produce for Tyler Perry, whatever it is that you want.
Yep.
Start believing in it, start walking in it, and I promise you, you will manifest it.
Absolutely. And I think I like that you say walk in it, because one part of manifestation is just like thinking of it. Oh, I know what I want. I know what I need. But like, that's not enough. Like, you have to put the action behind it.
Yeah.
You know
so
what I'm
a
saying?
vision is nothing without execution.
Ooh, we got quotes today. We got quotes today. Yeah. So one thing I didn't ask you about earlier, with their transition, because I know you are a mother as well, with your transition from, you know, nursing to CEO, or full-time entrepreneurship, was it easier or was it harder being a mom?
So what is your question? Are you asking, being that I am a mother, was it harder working a 9-to-5 or entrepreneurship?
Or entrepreneurship, yeah.
Oh, great question. That's a really, really good question. So, okay, so transparently, working a 9-to-5 as a mother was better in regard to, like, you knew what your check was going to be at the end of the 2 weeks, right? You had your benefits, you had your medical and your dental, and it's much cheaper, right? Because my health insurance now is much more expensive as an entrepreneur, but working as a nurse in a hospital, you know, your insurance package is much cheaper. So that was convenient. That was super, super convenient. Now, on the other side of that coin, you have entrepreneurship, right? So I drop them off and I pick them up every day.
Okay.
I can make any game, any event, any play, any fundraiser.
I make my schedule so I can,
she's sick, not a problem. I'll be there in 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that I have more flexibility with my schedule and be able to be the best parent possible in entrepreneurship. Because to be honest, y'all, they don't want the Gucci. They don't want all of that. They want the time. They want the time, girl. And so I'm able to do that.
Yeah,
right.
That's good. And I want to just piggyback to that as well. Not that I'm like ever like buying my daughter or his son or anything, like any design or anything like that, but I notice those weeks where I can indulge in just like being there, whether it's sitting down while she's creating a craft, making a necklace with her. You know, she's a lot more relaxed. Whereas when I have days where I'm like meeting, even past 5 o'clock when she gets home, I'm just like, oh my God, I still have so much work to do. She's frustrated, she's irritated.
And how old is yours?
She's just turned 5. And then
so
his
we're
son
in the
is
same
12.
boat.
5 and 12.
So I have 6 and 4.
Oh my goodness.
And so they really want they literally sit on the floor.
You have girls, right?
I have one of each.
Okay.
That was on purpose.
That.
Yeah, I made sure.
He got a boy, I got a girl. I'm like, do we need to have another kid?
No.
We got the best of both worlds.
Yes, you do. And so, like, parenting is like one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Absolutely.
Hardest things. Like this shit.
And
there's
no manual, there's no guideline.
No.
Like, you're gonna fuck up so many times, you're gonna feel bad. And I kid you not, no matter what, your kids are gonna love you.
Unconditionally.
Unconditional.
Unconditional.
That is the most unconditional love I've ever experienced in my life, ever.
That is
and I don't think ever
true.
will.
Yeah.
Like it does not matter what and I've seen, even in situations with like friends or other family members who maybe don't have the best parent, or you know their parents they still love them. And sometimes in situations where you're not there for your kids as much, they damn near love you a lot more because they're yearning for that relationship.
Yeah.
So that unconditional love,
I can identify with that.
Ooh.
Like your parents could have been on drugs, you could have been missing in your childhood, but you still love them.
Yeah, you're gonna love them.
Yeah, that's true. Those little rascals.
I know, right? So the transition as to entrepreneurship allows you a little bit more flexibility in your schedule.
Oh, definitely, hands down, hands down.
So flip side of that, what is harder? Or even if it's just what's hard in general, being a mom and a boss.
Yeah.
A boss. A
CEO. I think that what is harder for me is right now I'm in the building phase of my empire.
Okay.
And so even though I do have more time, my time is in business and in working on the business to grow and scale the business. And so I do feel like I do neglect them at times. So you made a good point that my day does continue on past 5, right?
And I try so hard not to.
And I try so hard, but it happens, right?
It's hard.
And then I have meetings. Some of our teams are overseas. And so the time difference, it requires us to have, you know, maybe, maybe we have a meeting at 8 p.m. in the evening, right? With some of the team that may be, you know, in different time zones. And that may be the time that they're pulling at you the most, right? And so that's where I feel the most guilty. But I know this, that I'm working on something for them.
Yes.
Right? And one thing that I can say is working in a 9 to 5, I was working for them. Now I'm working for us. And so it's rewarding. It makes me feel like right now I'm putting in the grind, I'm putting in the sweat. Yeah. In a couple of years, it's me and you.
Be good. And they'll always have something like, I can always include you as you get older, you know, you go into your adulthood. Like there's something for you guys to do.
That too.
I can, you know, and I want to build my kids up to be the individuals who I'm just like, I can turn my company over to you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Or you will have your own company doing business with the government.
There it is.
Because mommy knows the tools, the resources, and the network to make that happen. So you will have that. And let's talk about it for a minute, right? So for me, for my parents, you know, it was like, hey, look, go to school, get good grades, go to college, and get a job. We may not have those conversations with our kids right now in this current world, right? We may be talking to them about freelancing, entrepreneurship.
Do what you want to do. What is
it? What are you good at?
Literally.
What are you passionate about, right? And let's look at that area. And so the conversations are going to be different, and we have to be open to that. Yeah.
I agree. And I think also, alongside being a mother and a CEO, I think the thing that is very important so for me, the hardest thing I think is trying to find a balance, right?
Balance. What is that?
Exactly.
What is balance?
And you know what I've learned though, like balance is going to look different every single day. And when I discovered that and like understood that, it's just like, okay, Ashley, you can't take an hour nap and have a lunch break in the same, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
a nap.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
A lunch break.
Exactly. It ain't going to happen. No. So today, your balance is you actually got off on time and now you can go, you know, tend to the kids right away or whatever the case may be. Like your balance is going to be different every day. And I feel that I'm starting my days kind of being a little bit more organized. Like, all right, what is it that I need to do? So I can figure out where in between all of this.
So that's where I'm at.
I can balance it somewhere.
It's not balanced. It's not, there is, like for me, I don't have balance. Yep. It looks like, no, I don't have balance. I just prioritize. That's it.
That's good too, though.
Like, so what's important for today?
Yeah.
And then another thing is, because I do have a little bit OCD, just a little bit. It's like, okay, the dishes are not done. That's okay.
That's okay. Oh my God.
It's okay. The carpet needs to be vacuumed.
It's okay.
It's okay. We'll get to it later. That shit is just not that important right now. Your mental health is so important.
Yep.
And can we tap into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Being a mother, being a wife, being a spouse, being a business owner. You have so many things pulling at you, right? And so many cups that you have to pour into. So I recently had a private ladies brunch at my house.
You gotta let me know what the next one is.
Okay, I will.
So I was like, that's cute.
It was bomb.
Yeah.
It was so necessary. It was so good. And my girlfriend, she did an assignment, and it was like pouring. How many cups are you pouring into? Right?
Oh, that was like during the brunch?
During the brunch.
Oh.
Right? So we talked about business, finance, sex, men, everything.
Look,
right?
I need tea.
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. And it was like, okay, you're pouring into all of these cups. All right? Pour. Okay, cool. Pour. Everybody had their, like, what were their priorities, right? And you're pouring, and you're pouring, and you're pouring, and then you had your cup. And it was a sip. If it was, most girls didn't have anything left. It was just a sip.
Yeah.
We got to put the oxygen mask back on our face, right? Because really, in honesty, I don't think we understand how vital we are to our family, to our business, to the core. We are the nucleus, right? And so where does that saying come? Put the oxygen mask back on you first. Yeah. In flight. Right? In flight, they always tell you to put the oxygen mask on you first, then your children. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's the same concept in life that I have now.
You have to pour into yourself. It's so important. And I don't think you can be a good businesswoman, wife, mother, any of that if you're not okay. You know what I'm saying? And I've had to, like you said, the dishes ain't done, it's okay. And working from home, it's like, And I have like a WeWork membership. So like when I need to step away, I step away.
Okay.
Because sometimes when I'm in the house, or even if in my little office area, like I'm still looking around in the house, like what needs to be done, and it's so detrimental to my mental health. So I'm just like, I've had to learn to just be like, that is a tomorrow's problem, Ashley. Yeah. This is what you need to do today. Yeah. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
And I think the also alongside that is the importance of having a community. You know what I'm saying? Having a business community. Let's talk about that too. Okay. And I think you do that very well.
Do I?
With your mentorship.
They're dope.
You said you don't?
They're dope. They're amazing people.
Yeah.
They are amazing people. And it's like, that's a great point. Having a business community.
You have to.
Because what we share in that community, right? So Team Integrity membership, we meet bi-weekly, so twice a month. And then we have like a private group. We share so many resources. We share so many just like knowledge, information. And then also too, what we're doing is we are building a collaboration with each other. Remember we were talking about like 2 strands are stronger than one. Yeah. And so really looking at opportunities from a joint effort.
Yep.
You know, and so it's amazing to have that business community. And for me, I'm not that free girl, right? Okay. So I'm not like, let me YouTube University, which I do it sometimes. Okay. So I do look at YouTube to like get like information from like those who like Layla Hermosi and those other people like that, right? Just to hear them out, to see what they're experiencing, the knowledge they have to give. But when I want to go ahead and submerge myself in information, I'm a mentorship, I'm a coach, I'm a pay for what I need, right? Yeah. And it's not gonna be the $9.99 package.
Oh, not at all.
I wanna know, what is your premium package that you have? What's included in there? Okay, that's really what I want.
'Cause I want it all.
I want it, and not even that I want it all, I don't wanna waste my time, right?
Yes.
And I noticed that a lot of the rooms that I'm in, it's those private rooms, those back rooms, that's where the real conversation is happening. Not even necessarily right there in front stage. Yeah. Right? It's the gems, the gems. That's happening behind the stage. That's happening at the VIP dinner afterwards.
And that's happening with the people who got 200 followers.
So let's talk about that. So let's talk about that.
The people who don't glamorify it and if you think about it, look at these
that's such
celebrities, like people who are really making money and like their teams or the people that they're doing business with. If you ever pay attention to like some of the people, Tiana is like my girl. Love her, one of my biggest idols. Like I absolutely love her as a businesswoman. And sometimes I'm like snooping around, look at who they're tagging, who's on their team. These people don't post. They're not saying anything, but they're on one of the biggest teams making so much money, working with freaking Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? And you would have never known.
You would have never known.
It's the people in the background behind the stage that I want to talk to.
Those are the people who I want to. Yeah. Those are the decision makers. Those are the real influence decision makers. Right?
They're sitting next to the boss.
Exactly.
Whispering in their ear like, this is what we need to do.
And so a lot of us are fooled by like the 100,000 followers, the 40,000 followers who are doing everything that they can to get eyes and views, right? So you don't even have time to really run an empire and really build, right? That's number one. Then you have those who are really 100K followers and they really do have an empire. They do have a machine behind them, right? Yep. So that's not really me on social media, right? Because I'm busy running a company, but I have somebody to run it for me. Exactly. But that goes into say like, put the blinders on, get focused, because Instagram is a distraction.
It's a highlight. What do they say? It's a highlight reel. Like that's just the good stuff that people want to see.
It's just a highlight. It's just a glimpse of reality. Yep. It's just a glimpse of my day. It's just a glimpse of what I'm dealing with in business. I mean, don't get me wrong, social media is great. It's free marketing.
Absolutely.
Use it.
Absolutely.
But use it to your benefit. Not what they're wearing, right? Not who's into it, not and gossip, whatever the name of those those social media. Use it to your advantage because there's a lot of great information on there and it's a free marketing tool. Why are you guys not marketing your business? Another thing I have to say, we need to do less Instagram, more LinkedIn.
Ooh, especially like, and it's so crazy because I'm a social media director for a few brands. Like that's my like 9 to 5. That's what I do. And depending on the brands that come to me, especially if they're like logistical or like service based, I'm like, you focusing on Instagram,
wrong
you
audience.
Need to be on LinkedIn.
Wrong audience.
These people don't care unless you have a product that you're showcasing, you're doing visual content for. They don't care. These people gonna look at you and be like, oh, boring. But on LinkedIn, you have the decision makers. You have the professionals, the CEOs, the founders. Like when I work with nonprofits, we gonna bust it down on LinkedIn. That's where we need to be.
That's where we at.
We do need
that's
to do
our
a lot more on
playground,
LinkedIn.
right? And if you're talking about really scaling and, you know, changing your life, changing your children's life, building a legacy, less Instagram, more LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Put that on a t-shirt.
Oh,
Put that on a t-shirt.
Oh, look at the business mind, right?
Because people do need to know that, and I think that, and I've heard people say like, "Oh, that's just like for your resume, and yada yada." So that's where you getting your money, right? Like that's where you're showcasing your.
I'm
talents.
just saying.
That's where you're showcasing.
I'm just
your
saying.
skills.
Those DMs be popping.
Oh, they different.
Be popping.
They ask you to work.
Be popping.
Like I've gotten so many inquiries through my LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn I need to build it up much better. But even on the basis of just having the platform there, and me, I'm the person that like I don't post as much on LinkedIn as I need to because I'm doing it a lot for other businesses. Like I'm trying to find that balance in building myself, but also working.
Yeah.
But even when I get those DMs and I'm like, I don't post, but I'm liking, I'm commenting, I'm doing all that good stuff, engaging, like. It goes down in the LinkedIn DMs, honey.
It does. It does.
So it's important, and I like that. We were kind of moving into that direction of talking about some essential like downfalls of building a community. I do think that it's important in every industry, in entrepreneurship, in life, in your professional life, your personal life, having a mommy tribe, like all that stuff is important. But I will say, especially when it comes to building business communities and networking, you do have to be careful. Because you have those people who are glamorified, and then you go into these communities and they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And I would even say I've been in some communities where I thought this is what you guys are highlighting, this is what we're supposed to be doing, but we're meeting and we're talking about people. We're gossiping about other businesses. And girl, did you see what KK's boutique posted? Like,
we have a lot of that.
I'm so confused. What are we doing? So being very mindful, one, and two, be open, right? Be open, have conversations, but also be careful with the ideas that you are sharing. You don't want to give all your, ideas and thoughts as to what you're going to be doing next, or, if you have some type of like issues that you're running into with your business, like cool, but just be very cautious with your ideas. Yeah. With your dreams, with your goals.
Let me add to that, and be cautious with sharing of your ideas and your goals and what you want to manifest, not from a standpoint of they can steal my idea, because what's for you is for you.
Exactly.
But from a standpoint of you can't share everything with everyone, and so they may put fear in you to where you will not go ahead and execute on that vision. And then the next thing that I want to add to that is discernment. Have discernment when we're on these social media platforms. Have discernment when you are aligning yourself and your business. So there's a lot of people to where you can't go on their podcast. There's a lot of people to where you can't stand next to, and you cannot allow your brand to stand next to.
Ooh.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
It's not that I'm better than you.
And some people might get offended, and it is okay.
It's okay.
It's okay, because like you said, it's like when I'm going into my businesses and I'm being I am the face of my brand. And I am the face, quite frankly, of some other brands that I manage. So it's like certain things, I can't do that.
I
cannot do that. And, certain individuals, you cannot be around certain experiences you don't want to give your energy to, and everything is like within moderation, yes. But you really have to be careful about who you are, around and who you're associated with. Then even on the flip side of that, don't be the smartest, richest person in the room either.
Oh, that scares me.
Don't do that, because I'm like, so ain't none of y'all, no, okay, I'm in the wrong room.
I'm in the wrong room.
I'm in the wrong room. Teach me something.
Yeah.
I want to learn, so, and I think that I've seen even this in some of my friends, and we've had conversations, and I'm just like, don't be afraid to like not know. I like not knowing. I want to sit here and I want you to tell me something about my business that I don't know. I don't want to give you everything. Because damn, what am I learning? What do you have for me? So
absolutely,
I agree. A lot of that you definitely have to just be cautious and do your research. You're looking into doing a course or paying thousands of dollars to get some knowledge. Just look into that person. Look into their businesses. Like just do your due diligence and be careful with whom you're building your community with. You know. everybody's
said.
community isn't meant to be community, you know. So
And everybody doesn't have the same mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and so just for me, I'm really truly here to be an advocate, a vessel for people and women who look like me, who possibly have the same background that I have, and just really showcase and highlight what's possible, and then just also be the dot connector. There's nothing wrong with that. Like even if you don't need my services, even if you don't need what we offer, I know somebody who does, though.
Exactly. Me and my friend do that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm like,
it's
I don't
no
do it, but my
harm.
friend does.
Yeah.
She writes grants. Go talk to her.
Go talk to her. No problem. Matter of fact, let me put you in a group text message
Yeah.
together. Or let me ask her if it's okay to send you
Yeah.
her information.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with that. And so we have to do more of that. I would love to see more of that in our community, especially too in Chicago. Because, you know, I'm born and raised from the Chi. Chicago raised me.
Sir, I'm sorry to say.
It's just too... We need to let the barriers down. We need to let the barriers down. We need to hold each other's hands, and we need to just really execute on this thing, because I don't know if you guys see what's going on with the economy, with the world. It's about to be a major change. And especially in Chicago, and as minorities, we need to rally around each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of opportunities out there that I don't think that you guys know are out there in Chicago in particular, right? We're very politically based. We have a lot of funding here too. Chicago's a great city. Don't let the news, you know, really depict what Chicago has to offer.
You just got to you do have to build or get into networking, get into community, you know, being in a community, whether it's your own or you go find a community that's going to, you know, teach you and kind of give you access to resources. And that's crazy. I learned that back in high school, and I don't even want to deter our conversation too much. But going from public schools to Catholic schools, and I've talked about this on a podcast before, I've gotten so many resources from my high school. I went to Mother Macaulay, and I'm just like, in comparison to where I was originally in the public school, or my friends who were in public high schools, and I'm just like, even to this day, the network that I have from going to that school is crazy.
What do they say? Your net worth is your net worth.
Ooh, it is.
And that's just true. That's true.
It's very, very, very important, and it's essential. Especially when it comes time to scale your businesses. You want to make more money, you can't do it by yourself.
Only as strong as your team.
You can't do it by yourself. So stop being scared. Stop being stingy.
Stop being scared.
Go out and network, man. It's I feel like that is like top 3, and it ain't 3.
And it ain't 3
or 2. So, but this is beautiful. I wholeheartedly enjoy it, and we can sit here and talk for a much longer time.
I know.
We got time limits, y'all. I'm sorry. Maybe
we'll
do a part 2.
I'm open.
We can do a part 2.
I'm open. Yes. I love it. This is fun.
But what I do want to leave with, and I always do like a little question or something that we can end this conversation with. And my question for you, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what has been some of the most valuable, because I'm saying the most valuable lesson will probably be a lot harder, but the most valuable lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur and a mother?
Ooh. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, my most valuable lesson was to know your numbers, know your operational costs, understand your numbers. Why? Because you'll be more profitable, more efficient, and then you'll have a better negotiation when it comes down to negotiating of your contract. So understand your numbers, know your numbers, period. The greatest lesson far as motherhood, you said?
Motherhood.
Patience. Yeah, I really wasn't. Ooh,
that's hard.
I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna say something that maybe other women feel. I really wasn't like the girl who was so like excited and ready to have kids and be a mother, and like I wasn't that girl. And so now here I am in motherhood, loving it, right? But I have to tap into my patience and leave room for error. Leave room for error.
I agree, and I'm learning that, and as a mother, that's some shit that you're going to learn forever. Nobody's going to get the patience perfectly, but especially within these years with, you know, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, I have to stop myself in moments where I'm like, go, I got to do this. And I'm like, just be in that moment.
Just be in the moment.
Because she's trying to talk to you. And it's going to come a time when she don't want to talk to you.
They're not even going to want to be around.
So
they won't even be in the house.
She wants to talk to you right now. Don't shush her away. Don't, you know, sometimes I joke with her like, oh, you doing too much. But I have to stop myself with that too, because I don't want to, you know, close her off and make her feel like she can't be who she wants to be around me.
Yeah.
But having patience and just being like, okay,
patience.
AJ's trying to talk to you right now. Just let her talk.
I don't care if it doesn't make sense right now. She's going to feel and she's going to learn that she can come and talk to mommy whenever.
Yep.
And I always want her to feel like that. And same thing with JoJo. Like, he's just like his dad. He's very quiet, closed off. He'll be in that room. We don't see him for days.
Yeah.
But he'll have his moments where he's talk. And I'm just like, oh, I'm stressed. I got to do. But have patience. He's trying to talk to you right now. Talk to him.
Yep. One of the hardest things I did was, one of the hardest things I've done is motherhood.
It's
not even a business.
God.
It's being a mother.
It's hard, y'all.
Being
Nobody
an
can prepare
active,
you for it.
present mother.
Because it's one thing to just be a mother or a father.
Yeah.
You can be there.
You could birth them and you could be there and provide for them. But to be active and present,
that's different.
That's different.
That's a whole nother conversation. But thank you so much for joining me. This was beautiful. She gave you guys so much information, and especially if you are in the transportation industry. I can't talk today, y'all. I ain't had not one drink. That's crazy. If you're in the industry or looking to be in the industry, Mariah is back. Take some notes. Go looking to her. Tell them how they can find you too as well. You guys do need to know this.
Yeah. So Team Integrity Knowledge Center on all platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then Melanie Patterson _CEO on all platforms. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Let's get it. Please follow her. Get in tune. And like I said, this is an amazing person to reach out to and to connect with, build community with, if this is the industry that you're interested in. I definitely know I have to do my due diligence, and we need to set some stuff up. I got some stuff we need to learn. So thank you again for being here with me. And thank you guys for joining us for yet another episode of the 312 podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, leave a review.
All of those good things.
All of those good things. I love you so much. And have the best day, y'all. Have a best day.
Awesome.